apparently, this is according to Ben Roethlisberger. The Niners reached out to him at some point last season, presumably after Jimmy Garoppolo went down, to gauge interest of him coming out of retirement and maybe playing for the 49ers. And he was like, nah, can't play for anyone other than the Steelers is what he said. Although you'd love to know if there's more to that story. What do you think about this nugget?
Yeah, I think we know the timing of when this happened. And there's some thoughts like, okay, did this happen multiple games into Purdy? I think the assumption that 49er fans would prefer to make, which I don't think is true at all, and I'll read his quote and you can tell me what you think, but I think the assumption that 49er fans would like to think is like, oh yeah, of course. I mean, he's better than Josh Johnson. They needed a backup. This is a smart move. You don't reach out to Hall of Fame retired quarterbacks and say, hey, you want to come out of retirement and back up a 7th round pick? It's just, it doesn't work that way. He was asked to start. And so to me, this would have had to have been immediately after the Jimmy Garoppolo injury. We're talking maybe a day or the night of, whatever. Regardless of how well Brock Purdy played, I think this showed that they felt more comfortable with somebody like Ben Roethlisberger at that time. Now, that wouldn't have been the right decision. We saw how Brock Purdy played, but you can understand where they would be coming from. But it definitely, if you look at Ben Roethlisberger's quote, Grant, he was asked to come in and be the guy. It's very clear.
See, that's what I wonder. Like, was he asked to come and be the guy and he said no to that? Or was he asked to come in like, hey, man, why don't you come in, learn the offense, take your time, sort of let Brock do his thing. And then if we need you, then we can go to you. I couldn't see Ben Roethlisberger going for that. That would almost be like a slap in the face.
Yeah, right? Like I said, you don't reach out to a Hall of Fame quarterback, ask him to come out of retirement to be a backup. Here, I'll read the quote to you. You tell me if this sounds like somebody that was offered a backup position or a starter's position. He says, I'd be lying if I didn't say there was a small part of me that was intrigued. Like, oh man, I could still do it. Prove to people that I could still play. But at the end of the day, your favorite thing, I just can't say myself. I can't see myself in anything other than black and gold. Even though they had a great chance, I think, to win the Super Bowl, it would have been hard to go and win a Super Bowl anywhere else other than Pittsburgh. It was just the smallest belief that I had that I could still play. That's not a backup quote.
So he's saying, I would have won the Super Bowl with the Niners, but I don't want to win the Super Bowl. I only want to win Super Bowls for the Steelers. Is that what he said? Right. That's what he said. You got to love Ben Roethlisberger for being that disingenuous. Okay. Well, hey, I mean, I get it. It seems like when they got the bad news about Jimmy Garoppolo, even though Brock Purdy had played well in relief, you didn't know what the future held. And you got to call and gauge interest and do that. So good that they called Ben Roethlisberger. I would have. It's interesting that he said no. Maybe he took a look at that at the right side of that offensive line and was like, you know what? Maybe he called him up and he was like, all right. Just promise me you'll never make Tyler Kroft block an edge rusher. And they were like, there's long silence on the phone. He was like, we can't give you that.
Ben, you're breaking up. We can't hear you. You're breaking up.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe honestly, if they had gotten Ben Roethlisberger, he would have got hurt too. So that's what's so complicated about the 49ers trying to find the solution at quarterback. Like, is it the right guy? Is it the right protection? Like, it's so complicated here. The most important position. But anyway, Ben, enjoy retirement.
I think the thing here is like, you can't blame the 49ers in that moment for making that call. If this was 3-4 weeks down the line and Purdy was playing well and they were undefeated, of course that would be a dumb call to make. But hindsight's 2020. At that moment, you just lost your second quarterback. You're down to your third stringer. Sure, he played great for 50 minutes of ball or whatever it was, but he was still the last pick in the draft. Clearly, I mean, he barely made the team as far as it came down to the last preseason game, him versus Sudfeld. They chose him for the right reason. But in that moment, you can't blame them for thinking, oh, man, we're in big trouble here. We got to go get somebody. So I understand it. It would have been the wrong move because Purdy played great. But in that moment, I really do understand where their mind frame was at.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the right call to make. You had to make those calls. Dave Barclay says, love you guys. How long this one been going on? The show? 8 minutes. You're right at the beginning.
Like just this individual show, or like
I'm poor says the longer it takes, the cheaper for Frank Clark. I'm pretty certain the Niners won't sign Frank Clark.
No.
Pretty
No,
sure.
not necessarily. This was a big topic today. I had I had made a comment saying that the 49ers could use a badass type player, somebody who's a little bit crazy. And a lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't. Ended up being a huge topic. But I think Frank Clark fits that mold. It's just the other stuff that comes with Frank Clark that you don't want.
Yeah, he does fit that mold. Emiliano says best horror movie of the 80s, The Thing. It was scary. That and The Fly back to back. Watched the last few nights. It's not like there's any special effects. It's just scariness.
Scariest movie for me growing up was The Exorcist.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a very scary movie. Kless says The Thing is one of the best movies ever. Gotta see it, Jesse. I thought it was really good. It was quite good. I mean, it starts off with a dog that will scare you to death. A dog.
Okay, I'm going to make the chat.
You think you can trust a dog?
The chat's going to turn against me real quick on this one. I'm just not a movie buff. I don't watch a ton of movies. I have my favorites. I like comedies a lot, but I don't watch a ton of movies. And this is going to kind of show that I don't. I've never seen, wait for it, Scarface.
It's a little overrated. It's iconic.
Is it?
So you'll see it and you'll be like, oh, that's where that's from. Oh, that's where that's from. Oh, that's where that's from. But it's like 3 hours long. It's like, it's overrated.
See,
but
I can't commit that long to movies. I just can't do it. My attention span won't allow me to do it.
You don't need to watch Scarface. You just need to watch. Have you seen Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah, I have seen Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs. Have you seen True Romance?
No.
That's what you like. That was.
I still need you to watch Belly and stop messing around. Is what I need you to do.
Okay, I'll watch Belly. Moving on.
You might not want to watch that with the wifey. I don't know how she is.
Oh, she's been a good sport with these horror movies recently. I don't think I'll do that to her. I'm telling you without a doubt, if the Niners signed him, I would stop being a fan until he was off the team. Terrible human being. Who? Ben Roethlisberger?
So you would have been not a fan for the rest of that season? Like, yeah.
No, he's talking about Frank Clark, but Ben Roethlisberger is like, isn't Ben Roethlisberger? Also. Yeah, so isn't that kind of funny that we're like, yeah, they should have got Ben Roethlisberger. No, on Frank Clark. So if they were interested in Ben, they might be interested in Frank Clark.
Yeah, maybe. I think circumstances are different. One's a desperation, half a season type situation. The other one is, hey, we're gonna deal with you for a full season. You know what I mean? A little bit different circumstances, but even then, yeah. I mean, if you didn't like the character issues of Frank Clark, then you shouldn't like the character issues of Ben Roethlisberger either.
Aish Gupta says, Grant, I love the cameo you made about my Cal acceptance. Such an amazing video. Just got into UCLA this weekend too. Which should I choose? Wow, congratulations. I remember getting into UCLA right around this time, end of March, right as they're in the March Madness. That was when Jordan Farmar was taking them to the finals. And I was so proud that I got into UCLA. Hey, Aish, it's a no-brainer, dude. It's a no-brainer, man. I'm not telling you where to go, but this is a no-brainer. Kidding? Go to UCLA. Go to UCLA. Go to UCLA. Look, I can't speak for Cal. I didn't go to Cal, but I met my wife at UCLA. There's some.
He's married, by the way.
I have a wife. She's from UCLA, so UCLA was good to me. I would just say, and she's Indian. Not that it has that. I mean, something. Ayush, go to UCLA. I couldn't urge you more. Cal.
I like it.
Cal. Who is on the radar for right tackle? You didn't hear? It's Colton Kivitz, baby. It's so good. It's Colton.
The radar might start and end with him for sure.
It's Colton. Hey, is he that much worth than McGlinchey? Official B&M Music 88 says we didn't need Big Ben. We already had a beat up 2-time Super Bowl champion quarterback who smashes. All right. Did you see that Chicken Ranch? Couple employees at the Chicken Ranch offered free services for life for James.
Oh my gosh. Come on.